This may, and it may not sit right with you, but I'm going to share something that I've experienced personally that relates to me and my processing. As you're aware, we can't speak for others and their processing unless they give us permission to do so. But for me, well, the hate that I've felt in my life has had a level of beauty to it, not in how it was expressed, not in how sadly I directed my feelings of hate towards others, and not in how I took it out on myself, and certainly not in how it felt at the times I was consumed with it. The beauty of it, the part that I treasured, was the realization that the intensity of the hate I felt was because I cared so deeply and so profoundly about the people, the beings, or the focus of my hate, that they mattered so much to me that it hurt that deeply. That I had the capacity to feel so deeply and to feel such incredible depths of emotion of hurt. And if I had and have the capacity to feel that level of hate, then wow, what was my capacity to love? Welcome back to the I Make a Difference channel. And if you're new, well, it is an honor to connect with you. And whether it's just for this video or for many videos, to journey with you. I'm Melinda Cates. I'm a life transition and true self facilitator and coach of I Make a Difference. And for many decades, I've walked beside people and guiding them on their journey back to their true self. In this video, I explore hate, what it is, and the feelings and processing behind it. It's an emotion, as you're well aware of. It's a feeling that for me, I've felt on and off in my life, and I've felt it with great intensity. I've known it, I've processed it, and I've healed it. Because you see, hate for me is deeply, deeply suppressed hurt. And to feel hurt by a person, it was because I had an emotional attachment to them and I cared about them in some capacity. I had been impacted by them, emotionally hurt by them, and they and what they hurt me with mattered to me. Please know in me sharing this, I am not giving people permission to hate. In fact, I wish I'd never ever felt the emotion. And I don't wish it for it to be in the world, but it is. And it is as a result of our lack of understanding of each other, our lack of awareness of the impacts we have on each other, and how we've been conditioned and what we've learned and how to express our hurt. In fact, I actually abhor and condemn the way people take their emotion of hate out on others. They often punish people who've not done anything to them, punishing the wrong people because the hate and hurt that they are experiencing and feeling, well, it often belongs to and has come from someone else, not the ones they're punishing. It's like the kid at school who bullies others because they're being bullied at home. Something I know so profoundly about hate is that it is complete and utter powerlessness and hurt. Powerlessness to have an impact on the person or people you hate. It's powerlessness to affect them in any way. And it's powerlessness to get a reaction from them. And below the powerlessness, well, is the deep hurt, the hurt and pain. That's what's really hurting in you. It's that you feel like you don't matter to the person. It's like you mean nothing to them and that you don't have the ability to make the person hurt like you do. And you see them as the reason for your pain. You don't feel that they consider you. And you are left feeling, or you're left with feelings that you're not important enough, that you're irrelevant, that you're insignificant, and even in some cases that you don't exist. And that hurts so deeply. In fact, it can feel like your inner being is being ripped apart. It leaves a person feeling vulnerable. It leaves them feeling raw and truly unworthy and worthless. The levels of rejection and lack of self-worth that you're feeling, they're painful. They hurt. And they're like a deep wound within you. The hate you feel is deeply suppressed hurt. Hurt that the other person is not feeling. Or if they are, they're not connected to it and they're certainly not showing it. And they often are not aware of, but then they may be aware of the fact that you are hurting. And they certainly don't show any evidence that they actually care about the fact that you're hurting. The hurt and pain, you can have buried it for a period of time. And if you have, then it can be festering within you, just waiting to be triggered. And if you're an expressive like I am, someone who has their emotions surface very easily and quickly, well, you will feel it and you'll even act on it, expressing the hate. It's where you will take action and more than likely react, where the emotion that you're feeling ends up controlling you. And it tends to be that you don't have a level of awareness of what you're doing. And yet there are others who tend to be more reflective, unlike me, where it builds within inside until either something triggers the emotion or they take action that's calculated and thought through. The way you process your hate and hurt is influenced by your upbringing, which I'm sure you're aware of. If you were raised where tears and hurt were greeted with messages of non-acceptance and rejection, where you were judged for crying and experiencing and expressing your hurt, then the chances are you will have suppressed it. You will hide it away so you don't feel it, so you don't show it, and so you don't go through that judgment and rejection again. But it builds within you wanting to be expressed. And if you're someone who was punished for getting angry, or you saw others getting angry around you and it scared you, then the chances you will have suppressed your anger. And yet again, if you're someone like myself, as I have shared, who is an extrovert by nature, where I express my emotions verbally, physically, and energetically, and in addition to that, I was conditioned in how I express them, as well as conditioned to be tough and strong, well, there was no space for tears when you hurt. And my hurt, it never got to see daylight. Yet expressing anger was acceptable, or at least it was for me. You see, I expressed anger when I hurt as a way of trying to get attention, trying to be heard, trying to be seen. I was fighting to matter to someone. I was fighting and yelling to mean something to someone, where hopefully someone would care enough about my hurt and what I was feeling. But as it is, the angrier I got, the less I mattered, the more I pushed people away, the more angry I got, and the hurt, well, it just kept compounding. So when a final straw happened, like a partner leaving me, my father saying I was no longer his daughter, my parents rushing to care for my brother, but not me, or a partner walking out on me, the hurt that was triggered within me was so overwhelming and consuming. I was so out of control internally because I felt so powerless to get them to love me, to get them to stay with me, or for me to matter to them. The hurt was so raw and painful, and the only way I knew how to express it was in hate, extreme hurt. In my earlier days, when I felt hate, I knew what whatever I said had no effect on the person because I didn't matter to them. I knew hurting myself would not get their attention because I did not matter. So I looked for what was most important to them, what they valued the most, what was so precious to them, so I could make them hurt. Where their vulnerability was is where I could do something to get a reaction from them, where I could hurt them. But the crazy thing is that in seeking to express my hate to get a reaction from them, it was so I believed at some level I had an impact on them, so I mattered to them. But I didn't. If I got a reaction from them, then it meant I had some influence on them. In fact, in one instance, I kicked my father's car in front of him and his friends. I don't encourage anyone else to do this, but to share what my processing was behind it was from what he shared and showed and what I believed, well, his friends and cars were far more important to him than me. So I used them to hurt him and for him to know how I was hurting. But as I began to heal over the years, I knew this was not okay and not the right thing to do. You see, forget about my father, who was causing me so much pain. It was about the fact that in kicking the car in, I was doing things that would create karma, that would come back on me. I was doing things that were hurting me. That's what cause and effect is. I already hurt so much because of my father. I didn't need to also hurt myself. I still, as I grew and healed, continued to say to just some people, I hate you, because that is what I felt in the moments I experienced the overwhelming pain. But I realized that this hate was purely my hurt in that moment. So I grew my ability to say, I hate you, but I don't really. It's actually that I'm hurting. It took me digging deep to see and feel hurt as a gentle, raw part of me that needed my love and care. That it wasn't a weak part of me, but rather a part that cared so deeply. It was the day I was hurt so deeply by the guy I was going out with, where he had shut me out and shut down on me. And I said to him, I hate you, I'm leaving. He didn't say a word while I walked around the block to a park, and I was fuming and full of anger as to how he was treating me. But as the tears began to flow and I chunked down within me through the emotions, I got to experience and feel the hurt that was sitting underneath my hate. And as the tears flowed from me, I was screaming inside in pain. I just wanted to matter to him. I wanted to mean something to him and for him to show me this. I didn't hate him. I loved him. I was hurting because I believed he no longer loved me. I felt vulnerable and powerless and scared, and all I wanted was a hug and reassurance. When I returned and said this to him, his reply was, why didn't you just ask me for one? This was a huge learning, a significant insight gained. And it reminded me to ask for what I deserve. But this felt wrong and weak, and it actually took strength from me to do so. And I always had justified not asking for things as they should know and just naturally share this with me. But how does someone know what you want all the time? So I committed to myself with my hate that if I said, I hate you, which I have done to the person closest to me, the person I was most emotionally impacted by, that I would say, I hate you, but I don't really, I'm hurting. And I committed to doing so to honour myself, my processing, and the truth of what I was feeling, and to honour my partner with my truth. And I did apologise to him. I recently stopped and asked myself, is there anything I hate in life? Is there anything that I care and feel deeply about that emotionally impacts me? Animals being hurt. Their innocents that deserve all the love and care in the world. Yet humans treat them in such inhumane ways. This hurts me deeply because these beautiful beings hurt when humans hurt them, which is why I hate it with such a passion. And it's also because I feel powerless to stop humans from hurting animals, which is why I have so many rescue cats. There's also a group of people who I'm not going to name, but their righteousness in believing their way is the only way and that they deserve everything and it's theirs for the taking. Well, I hate that. I hate that people separate themselves, that they believe they're more entitled than anyone else. And the way they treat others is so disrespectful. Yet again, it has hurt me because of the consideration, the time and the care I've given this group of people. And the way I've been treated is with a lack of consideration and disrespect. And I don't deserve to be treated that way that they have treated me, nor does anyone else. And going down to the hurt, at a level I feel powerless to change this situation. But I do have some power. I can heal my emotional attachment to them and know that I deserve to say no and being treated that way. The key with hate is owning your hurt. And in doing so, you connect with the truth of what you're feeling. You can turn some of that powerlessness into you taking your power back. The powerlessness, it comes from having an emotional attachment to the person, the people, the focus of the hate you are experiencing, where you're needy of being considered and needy that you matter to them. So what you seek from the other person or people, the way you can heal that emotional attachment is for you to consider yourself and for you to matter to you. It's also important for you to be kind and gentle with yourself because you can get into the cycle of beating yourself up for even feeling the hate. And if others judge you for feeling the hate, that's their judgment. They're judging themselves at some level. So you don't need to take it on board and be really mindful of not judging you. But connect to, be gentle with, and own the hurt that is below the hate and nurture the healing of this part of you. What is important is not to act on your hate like I did. Don't act on it with regards to yourself or others. Rather, take the time to chunk down through the emotions and get to the hurt that you're feeling. Yes, voice it out loud. I hate you, but I don't really because I'm actually really hurting. And remember, if you do, apologize to the person. This can help you move through the layers to the hurt that is there. And even better, voice it on your own. Embrace and love the hurt and acknowledge that you're human. And like all humans, you've experienced pain. That pain has conditioned your reactions and it doesn't define you. When you can accept that the hurt exists and that it's okay to feel what you feel, this is when a shift happens. And instead of beating yourself up for feeling anger or hate, you can go to great depths of understanding and connecting to the hurt and processing that out. You might say to yourself, it's okay that I feel this way. It's what I'm feeling right now. And it means I care at a deep level. And I've been through something very hurtful and important and valuable to me. When you feel the emotions, make sure you take a moment and breathe. Be aware of not pushing them down or pushing them away or letting them consume you. Rather gently ask yourself, what do I really need right now for myself? How can I look after me and what I'm feeling in this moment? It could be to snuggle up. It could be to yell at the beach into the wind. It could be a walk or simply giving yourself permission to feel without judgment. And if tears are there, allow them to flow and honor your process. Your emotions don't make you wrong. They're signals guiding you towards healing. And when you stop fighting them and instead embrace them with kindness, you begin to find the space to heal, to strengthen your connection to your self-worth, knowing you are worthy and you do matter. If hate is not something you're familiar with, but you have felt other emotions like frustration, anger, and even dislike, I'll explore those in another video. If what I've shared with you in this video connects with you, please do like and subscribe, and we can then continue to journey together. If you do have any questions or you want to share your processing, don't hesitate to pop them in the comments below, and I will answer your questions. With the pain and hurt of hate, know that there is also so much love and care within you and also around you. It's about you being open to where it is. It's about you recognizing where it's flowing to you and the way it's flowing to you. Because you do matter and you deserve to feel and experience that love and care.